from Grandpa Digs It. Well, the verdict is in. I can tell you the best, most effective, and prolific method of growing large numbers of creeping red thyme plugs. Our method was very successful, and we created about 80 healthy plugs. Now, we could have easily done about 200 if we had focused on the most effective method, the one I'll share with you now. We had a lot of interest in our video in our creeping red thyme experiment from last May and June. As you might recall, after spending $100 for 20 plugs, we decided to try several methods to create many more plugs for less money. The original video linked here shows the 4 methods we tried. Well, it's now December in Alabama, Zone 8A, and I wanted to give you my verdict on which method worked best. We tried several methods, including seed trays and direct sowing. That's when I mixed these fine pepper-sized seeds with sand so I could consistently distribute these seeds. I think this method probably would have worked but for the rainfall, which basically washed these seeds away. These small seed trays, forget it. Nothing doing there. The reason this didn't work well is that these seeds germinate fast and develop a disproportionately large root system. Yep, they generate quickly, but the small seeding trays were too small to support root systems for the seedlings. So here is what worked. Now, if you remember, I started these after the threat of frost, but you can start them early indoors, depending on your lighting and your condition and your particular zone. Just time it right. Creeping red thyme is forgiving and is hardy in zones 4 through 9. So from my experience, do this. Plant seeds generously. Start them out in 3.5 to 5 inch pots. Use the cheap ones. I just checked, and you can buy 200 4-inch pots for $12 on Amazon. That's 3 cents a pot, and they're reusable. These are those well-known orange ones. You've probably seen them. But the secret I learned in this process is that the creeping red thyme needs a lot of room beneath the surface in order to thrive. They develop disproportionately large root systems. That's why the seeding trays were a poor choice. And as for the medium, I used both. 1, a mixture of coco coir and perlite, and 2, a mixture of fine potting soil and perlite. Both worked well, although the coco coir perlite has no nutrients, so as your plants progress, maybe a month or 2 down the road, you'll need a tiniest bit of some sort of fertilizer. I mean, very little. I really diluted and then diluted some more and then some more, some of Neptune's Harvest fish fertilizer, and added just a tweak. But I guess my overall suggestion would be just to use the fine potting soil and perlite instead, since that'll contain all the necessary nutrients you need. Remember that thyme seeds need light to germinate and a moist soil. We never want soggy soils for any of our plants really, but keep them moist. Here's some pictures of these in pots, and once they get to this size, you could probably plant them out. But in our area, as it turned out, that was July and August, and the rule here is don't plant anything in those months. It's just too hot. So we protected them during this period from overexposure to hot sun, and always kept them moist. Not soaking, but moist. If they seem to slow down, it's probably because their root system is outgrowing the pots. So we waited till late September to put them in the ground. Perfect time here in Zone 8A to allow them to adapt and develop a sound rooting system before our first frost, which is generally mid to late November. Plan your creeping red thyme project with variations depending on your particular zone. So now it's winter time, and I'm confident we'll have about 100 thriving plugs that'll be out this spring. I'll do another update then with pictures. I may not get the full coverage I'm looking for this season, but I'll be close, and I think I found the secret sauce. Had I just used this one single method, I would probably have about 200 plugs planted last September. So by the way, I bought these seeds from Eden Brothers. They may not be available yet for the season. I checked and they're not quite available. Check with them yourself. It's still early. I bought 1 ounce last year for about $35 delivered. They had a fabulous germination rate, so I highly recommend those seeds. So good luck with your creeping red thyme project. I'd be interested in hearing of your methods, successes, and failures. drop me a comment, please, and let's learn together. Until next time, so long from Grandpa Dixit.